Should your working genius type inform your signature style? That's what I'm talking about today. Have you explored all the different style systems but still not found yourself in any of them? I'm Rebecca Mielke, and I translate personality and style systems into design principles you can use to create a signature style that actually feels like you. As your first step to self-discovery, I invite you to download my Guide to Design Psychology. You can find the link in the show description or at my website, signaturestylesystems.com. So this last year around Christmas, I heard that the staff at my church were all going through something called Working Genius. And then I didn't think much of it. But 6 months later, three different people in my profiling community had mentioned the Working Genius to me. And my friend who I talked to every day had been reading Pat Lencioni's other books. So this was too much coincidence for me to ignore. And I started exploring. So if you haven't heard of it, Working Genius identifies 6 stages of work that's necessary to move any project to completion. Unlike Myers-Briggs, which focuses on how you take in, process, and evaluate information, this is about the actual kinds of work that energize or drain you. Um, it reveals not only just your working geniuses, but also your working frustrations and competencies. So it also shows you whether you have disruptive energy that questions and creates, or responsive energy that supports and implements. And lots of people have a little bit of both. I actually asked Claude to help me figure out my working genius profile through just asking me targeted questions. And my geniuses, which are invention and discernment, popped up pretty quick. But sorting through to finding my frustrations and competencies, that took several more tries. So then I happened to be house sitting for someone else on my church's staff. I stumbled across Lencioni's book and then I read the whole thing. That's when more of the usefulness of the system really started to make sense to me. So the most common working genius combination is enablement and tenacity. Mine are invention and discernment. It's like, well, enablement and tenacity are my frustrations. So I am exactly the opposite energy pattern of what is most common, I guess. Most people naturally expect others to be helpful and to push things through to completion. But my energy comes from creating new ideas and evaluating what works best. When people expect enablement and tenacity from me, everyone ends up frustrated. This explains so many workplace and just community dynamics that I've never really understood before. And then here's what it means for me, how I show up visually. People don't automatically think inventive when they see a 60-plus-year-old woman. As I've gotten older, though, people have started to recognize my discernment and expect that more naturally, but they can't see my invention genius. And if they can't, if I'm dressed like everybody else, they're going to ask me to do things that everybody else is really happy to do, but they drain me rather than energizing me. So here's how it's different from other personality frameworks. Myers-Briggs focuses on on your mental processes, how it's called cognitive functions for a reason. It's how you process information. Enneagram, which a lot of people are really into, it explores your core motivations and fears. Parenthetically, I admit I I use Enneagram some for myself, but I mostly feel like it's so personal that it's not really appropriate to talk about as much as people talk about it. I think in my mind, asking somebody what your Enneagram type is like asking them what's your pet sin. Uh, anyway, moving along, uh, Holland or Strong, I think it's sometimes called the RIASEC, that reveals what work environments you're most aligned with. And then Working Genius is less about who you are internally and more about which parts of the work process you're most inclined towards contributing to. This makes it uniquely relevant to visual communication. So if you're in a collaborative setting, people might be making split-second decisions about what to ask from you based on what they see. So your visual presentation can either support or contradict your natural working geniuses. Then when there's alignment, hopefully collaboration is going to flow more smoothly. But when there's misalignment, everybody feels frustrated and nobody knows why. So should your working genius type inform your signature style? Yes and no. Understanding your working genius makes a powerful case for why authentic visual expression matters. But the solution isn't necessarily to create another set of style rules based on your genius type. So, like if you're invention, you don't need to follow inventive dressing guidelines. You don't need to adopt a supportive style uniform. What you need is to express who you are authentically so clearly that nobody can miss it. This means going deeper than any personality framework, straight to your essential aesthetic. For me, this means I need to look distinctly unlike everyone else. I can't afford to blend in or look conventional because then people are going to assume I'm ET and ask me to do work that drains me, like take people dinner. I'm like uniquely terrible at doing that. I used to do it and I would always come home, like I would take somebody dinner and then I was always happy to see them. I want to provide them dinner and then I would like go home and have to like start all over because I wasn't organized enough to get dinner for both of us made at the same time. And it just wasn't pretty. Wasn't a good use of myself, my time, my skills. All right. So expressing your authentic self through signature style, that's the most effective way to communicate who you are without saying a word. Here's where most people get stuck. They want another system to follow instead of trusting their own aesthetic instincts. Working Genius reveals how important it is to be seen accurately, but your signature style should come from your unique combination of personality and the artistic elements that harmonize with your body. So your aesthetic intuition reflects both who you are as an individual and what works visually with your physical form. So this is more nuanced and personal than any typing system can capture. um, I have a way of helping you find your visual aesthetic, and no two people's is the same. When you trust your deeper knowing, your style to communicate authentically without effort, people will naturally see and respond to your genuine energy rather than a curated image. So this is why I focus on helping people discover the essential meaning like of their essence, aesthetic, rather than creating categories for you to fit into. So your working genius might explain why authentic expression matters to you, but your style should come from something much deeper than your genius type. So here's something simple you can do this week to integrate these principles into your wardrobe. Get dressed one day in the outfit you have that most reflects who you authentically believe yourself to be. the outfit that you love the most. Then observe how people interact with you that day. And then if you're ready to discover your authentic aesthetic, the one that reflects your essence, that's beyond any personality framework, I invite you to explore the Essential Signature Style Guide. This comprehensive analysis reveals your natural style essence and the visual elements that make you look most like yourself, with no typing system required. Thanks for being here for the Signature Style Systems podcast. Have fun being you, and I will meet you back here again real soon.